Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and generally living the craftiest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. How are you? It has been 2 weeks since I last recorded an episode, and this is the final episode for 2018. Can you believe that 2018 is over? I'm having a hard time believing that 2018 is almost over. I have been working nonstop because it's Christmas. I will be working until Christmas Eve, probably about 6 p.m. and then I will have a few days off. So I'm just trying to make it until then. So if I look extremely tired or I seem a little bit crazy or out of it, that's just how life is going these days. I will look better next time, I promise. This is, of course, a Christmas episode, but also there is something very exciting that I want to share with you that happened in the last 2 weeks, and that is that the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast channel hit 5,000 subscribers. What? I cannot believe that. When I started podcasting in April of 2017, March? See, now I don't even know. What a bad podcaster I am. Okay, so I think it was April of 2017. That hasn't even been 2 years yet, and the fact that there are 5,000 people who find this channel interesting and want to come back every 2 weeks and spend a little bit of crafty time with me genuinely blows me away. I don't know how to handle that. I have been freaking out for 2 weeks. I was so excited about it that I just pulled up my YouTube channel. I don't look at it honestly that often, and I was just scrolling and I happened to notice the number, and I literally squealed out loud and showed my husband, and being a wonderful husband that he is, he got really excited even though I'm sure he doesn't care, and then he took me to dinner and we went to dinner at Ruth's Chris, which is a really good steakhouse. We almost never go there. It's so good. And then we went to the movies and watched the new Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse, which I must say, even though this is not a nerd podcast, I just need to say it is, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man movie out there. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. It's amazing. That's not why you're here. You're not here to hear me ramble about Spider-Man. Gosh, I have a giveaway because we've reached 5,000 subscribers. I didn't know it was going to come so soon, and I showed this only a few episodes ago. And it is a fabulous, fabulous prize. And this is what it is. It is an amazing handmade bag and three skeins of yarn from the lovely Leah, who is Sheep Happens. So there are, it's a gradient set. Let me get them out for you. All 3 of these are in her extra fine merino sock, which is 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. This is called Wild One. It's a one-of-a-kind. Actually, Wild One is the name of her one-of-a-kind colorways. So both this one and this one are one-of-a-kinds. She was just experimenting in the dye pot. And this one is called Float. So she sent me this to use as a prize. She said I could use it however I wanted a couple of months ago, and I have been saving it for the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. I just had no idea it was gonna come before Christmas. Like the best Christmas present ever. And also you get this fabulous bag, which you can do this and tuck it on your arm. So there is also, I have one other prize to share with you. You just put this back in, and I will include a link to Leah's shop down below. I love her yarn. You will have heard me rant and rave about it before because it's beautiful. It's super soft. I designed a pattern with her yarn. I bought 2 skeins of her yarn recently to make another pattern with. I've just been so crazy that I can't get around to it. So this is prize number 1. It will all go together. And then I actually have a second prize because I am a horrible podcaster and forgot to include this in the Nerd Along prizes. So there's another podcaster named Sam of the Sam Squeak podcast. Hi, Sam. I know she watches. She's so sweet. And she designed a cowl, which you can see right here. There's an adult size and a children's size. This is Sam. And it's called the Painted Moss Cowl. And this pattern is designed to use for the children's version, 1 hank of the Karen Pantone yarn that Michaels has been carrying in all of the different colors, and the adult size I believe uses 2. So she had contacted me and said she wanted to donate a copy of this as a prize for the Nerd Along, and I said, oh my gosh, that would be so great. And then I promptly printed it off and stashed it somewhere where I could never find it. I was like, oh, I'll put it somewhere safe. Literally, does this ever happen to you? 3 times this week I have been like, where is X? My husband's like, I don't know, where did you put it? Somewhere safe. Will I ever find it again? No. So I stumbled across this and I was like, oh no. So there's actually 2 prizes for the 5,000 subscriber giveaway because one of you will win a copy of this pattern. All you have to do to enter this giveaway, you don't have to go to Ravelry, you don't have to jump through any fancy hoops. All you have to do is leave a comment below. You must be a subscriber to this channel to be eligible for winning. And you have to answer the question, how did you find this channel? Because I am fascinated to know where you came from. If you don't remember, then I don't know, just tell me about yourself. Tell me what your favorite thing to crochet is. So that's all you have to do is leave a comment below and I will draw a winner by the time I record next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks at the beginning of January. I'll ship to anywhere, so it doesn't matter where you are, I will send this prize to you. And please just make sure that you come back next time to see if you won, because I don't have a way of contacting you other than to comment below your comment and to put it on the screen in my next podcast. So you'll have 2 weeks from that podcast date to get in contact with me, and if you don't, then I will redraw. So I'm so happy to give that to one lucky viewer and to give a copy of the pattern. And I just want to say to all of you that I'm blown away by your support. You always comment on my videos. You always send me so much love. This has not been the easiest couple of months, which you will know if you've been around for a while. There's just been a lot going on. I've been working a ton. I haven't been feeling great. And you guys really brighten my day. You brighten my whole life. Every time I get a comment, I promise you I read them. I'm trying to respond to all of them. But of course I've been working like 60 plus hours a week. So the last couple of weeks I have not been on top of that very well. But I just don't know how to say thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. I love to do this. I love to spend time with you. It's one of the best parts of my month. I love to crochet. I love to share what I'm making with you and have this conversation with you. And without you, I wouldn't be here. So thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting and liking and subscribing. And it may seem like nothing to you, but it really means the world to me. And you're the reason I'm here. And I'm gonna stop before I get all emotional. So I want someone to win, so please comment down below and just tell me how you found this channel, what brought you to this part of the community. And I will draw a winner in 2 weeks. Before I jump into what I have been working on, I just want to say if you're looking for me anywhere on the interweb, you can find me as the Cozy Cottage Crochet on Instagram and Facebook, the Cozy Cottage on Ravelry. We do have a Ravelry group for this podcast. There is a direct link to that down below in the drop down. And if you have anything to say about the podcast, any comments or inquiries, or you want to send me something, you've got to email me, because if you send me a message on another platform, the likelihood is I may not see it. And I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you. It's just there's too many ways. So please email me. I have an email specifically for this podcast, and it is thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Okay, admin stuff is out of the way. Are you guys ready to talk about what I have been working on? This is a Sprite tropical mix. My husband got this for me yesterday, and because, as I have previously mentioned, best husband. And I had a long day at work, and I came home and he got me sunflower seeds, which I really, really like. It is probably disgusting how quickly I can go through them. Like me and my dad. Hi Dad, I know you're watching too. We used to go to baseball games or just anywhere, and we would stop and get sunflower seeds and like go through a whole package on the way to wherever we were going. So he got me sunflower seeds and a Sprite, and it's just making my life better. See, now I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, yes I do. I do know where I was going with that. I'm drinking Sprite because I'm feeling much better. I never ended up getting really sick. I know in the last episode, some of you had commented like, are you okay? Because I didn't feel very well. I didn't end up getting sick, and I still don't feel like I'm 100% but I think that that's just because I'm so tired because I'm working so much. I've been trying really hard to go to bed early, and it has been killing me to not crochet and knit as much as I would like. However, I know that I need to take care of my body, so I have been making a real effort to go to bed earlier. And I get 8 hours of sleep a night, but I've been trying to get like 9.5 because this season is so busy. And I actually had some opportunities this week to take naps, and I took them. I was like, well, I could work on this for 2 hours and maybe get it finished, or I could go to sleep for 2 hours, and I went to sleep. So that's probably why I am not talking to you like a frog and coughing. I'm fine. I actually pretty much only have finished objects to show you. I have been working on, the only things I've been working on are things that I showed in the last podcast episode, and I have finished all of them. All of them. As of last night at like 9 p.m. I finished. So I am just going to start and go through. I have 4 finished objects and 1 measly whip. Measly. Oh my gosh. Before I jump into finished objects, there is one more important thing that I need to talk about, because it is Friday, December 21st right now, which means we're only a couple of days until Christmas, and we have a crochet along, make along, starting on Christmas Day, which is December 25th. I can't believe I got so excited about the 5,000 subscribers that I almost forgot to say something. Oh my goodness. Okay. I haven't had any caffeine today, by the way, you guys. This is just my life right now. Bring it down. We are having a crochet along called the Love Your Stash Cowl. The hashtag for this is the Love Your Stash Cowl. It is going from Christmas Day, December 25th, 2018, until the last day in February 2019, which I believe is February 28th, because next year is not a leap year. So you will have 2 months, basically, to make anything that you like. The only rule is that it must come from your stash. We are trying to promote stash positivity. We are not going to go into 2019 looking at our stashes and saying, oh my God, I can't believe I bought all this yarn. What am I gonna do with it? Stash is overwhelming me. No, we are going to use the yarn that we bought. And I also encourage you to go through your stash, and if you see yarn in there that you are legitimately never going to use, pass it on to someone else. Pass it on so that someone can love it. And if you have skeins of yarn, like good yarn that you've been saving for the perfect project, just use it. Use the good yarn. Go find a wonderful pattern. There's so many out there. Look on Ravelry. You are worth the good yarn. If I ever get a button made or a pin made, it's gonna say, you are worth the good yarn. I promise you. Because you are. You deserve to have beautiful things. You deserve to work with the best yarn that you can afford. You deserve to use the stash that you've accumulated. And it deserves love, because you bought all those things for a reason. They weren't just, I'm sure that they all weren't like, oh, well, this is on sale, so I have to have it. Some of my stash is that. I will be honest. And you know what that is mostly? The stuff I don't use. So the only rule is you need to use stash yarn. Whips are 100% allowed. They are part of your stash too. If you have whips that have been sitting, languishing for months, even longer, those are especially encouraged. Give them some love too, or rip them out. There's a reason that you wanted to work on them in the first place. And there will be prizes from the chatter thread, which is already open in the Ravelry group, the finished objects thread, and for Instagram if you use the hashtag, so there will be prizes. And the only exception to the rule that you must use yarn from your stash is if you're working on a gigantic project and you get to the end, say you're working on a sweater and you need 1 more ball of yarn to finish, or you're working on a blanket and you realize you're gonna run out, then you're allowed to purchase more yarn. But for y'all who are making like hats and scarves, etc., the point of this is not to buy new yarn. It's to love the yarn that you have. So go post in the chatter thread. I cannot wait to see what you're making. And I am going to share with you at the end of this episode what I will be working on as well, because I found the pattern. Again, I put it somewhere safe, and so it was gone. Okay. Now let's start with finished objects. The first finished object I have to show you, I was working on last time, and it is a baby blanket for, I am pretty sure I can say this because I think the chances that she watches this podcast, and I don't know. There's like literally no way that she watches this podcast, but I'm kind of afraid to say who it belongs to. So I'm not going to say their relationship. I'm just going to say that her name begins with an S, and she's a very sweet person, and she has a baby due in February. Because I've been working, did not have time to make a baby blanket out of sport weight baby yarn, which is normally what I like to do. So I was like, oh, I will make it out of Bernat blanket yarn. And her favorite colors are purple, orange, and pink. And it's going to be a baby girl. So I bought 2 balls of this Bernat Blanket Brights in the colorway Jump Rope. This is Jump Rope. And then I did a border in purple. And this purple is called Pow Purple. I love this purple. I think I should make a hat out of this. It's so purple. I used 1 complete ball of this and then another half a ball. This is about half a ball that's left. And I used about, I don't know, 1/3 of the ball to do the border. I will say I was a little annoyed by the amount of knots. In the first ball of this, there were 2 knots, and I don't think I ran into a knot in this section, but in the purple one, there were 2 knots and I only used 1/3 of the ball. How hard is it to not have knots in your stuff? I know that I'm getting bargain yarn, so like that's the price you pay. It irritates me though. So this yarn is 100% polyester. You can see it's basically like fleece chenille-y kind of yarn. So I had just started it, but it works up so quickly that I actually finished this like the day after I recorded last podcast episode. And this is how it came out. It has not been washed yet. All of the ends have been woven in, but it has not been washed. So I'm going to do that today and then wrap it and put it under the tree. So it is just a corner to corner. And actually it kind of looks like that on the screen because it's got these stripes of orange. It doesn't really look, it's showing up crazier in real life than it is, or it's showing up crazier on the screen than it is in real life. Once I did the corner to corner and I was happy with it, basically I increased until I had used almost an entire ball, and then I started decreasing. Then around the edge, I did 1 row of single crochet in this color, and then I did 3 rows of half double crochet in the purple, which to me, I think it looks like a little bumpy. It's an interesting little border. Normally I like to do something a little more fancy, and I tried, but with the giant chunky yarn, it looked a little weird to me, so I thought a solid border would be better. This baby is due at the beginning of February, and I know in most places that's really cold. In Florida, that's not really cold, but it is chilly. So I think it's pretty heavy, and I am pretty happy with it. It worked up so quickly. I had to be a little bit careful because it kind of hurts my arm a little bit, but I love it, and I think that she'll love it, and the baby doesn't have a choice because it's a baby, but I hope that the baby will be wrapped up in this in February when it's born because it's super, super soft. So if you are needing to make gifts for people, babies specifically, and you don't have time, I highly recommend the Bernat blanket yarn. You're just gonna have to deal with some knots probably, which is kind of par for the course. But the Bernat blanket yarn is usually $10 a ball. I got mine at Joann's, but I had a 40% off coupon and a 50% off coupon, and then a 20% off your whole purchase coupon. So it was not that much money for this baby blanket. Otherwise it would have been like 30 bucks. But like, use your coupons, people. That's the whole reason to go to Joann's, is coupons. This is finished object number 1. I love it. So happy with it. Very simple pattern. I used a 9mm crochet hook for this, and it's just the corner to corner. The second finished object I have is, of course, a hat. Shocker, it's a hat. However, on the last episode, I said that I thought the hat I was working on, which is this one, I just had the decreases left to do, was hat number 5. That is wrong. This is hat number 6, which means I only have 2 more hats to make in the next 3-4 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. That's totally doable. That's way more doable than 5 hats. No, 3 hats. I can't count. I can't math today. So this is what it looks like. The yarn is Deborah Norville Everyday. Serenity Everyday. It's their worsted weight in the colorway Charcoal Heather. I use a 4.5 millimeter knitting needle. I cast on 88 stitches. I do 2x2 rib for 4 inches. Then I do plain stockinette until the hat reaches 9 3/4 inches. And then I do the decreases, following the decrease pattern for the classic cuffed hat by Pearl Soho. I have it memorized now. I don't need to look at it. And you want to hear something crazy? I was on the first 3 or 4 of these hats doing magic loop for the decreases. On the last 2 I've used double pointed needles, which I don't like, but it's faster. So yeah, I don't know. This is hat number 6 and I need to get cracking on 7 and 8. And it's a little stiff. You can see it's not like super drapey right now, but that's okay. Oh my goodness. The one thing I will say about this yarn is it significantly calms down after you wash it, but before you wash this, it leaves fuzz everywhere and it flies through the air. Like, you probably can't see it because the camera is not like that high quality, but with these studio lights, I can see like tiny little bits of fuzz flying across the screen. It's from this hat. This hat is so fuzzy. The bag that I am using, I cannot use any other bag until these hats are done because it's covered. It's like a cat laid on the inside of the bag. That's how much black fuzz is on the inside of the bag. So it's gonna have to get washed after these hats are done. It's fine, it's fine. Perils of knitting and crochet. I had to get the fuzz out of my brain. That's finished object number 2. Finished object number 3 was living in, of course, my sock bag. This is a bag by Slipped Stitch Studios. It says, "Do not give up." And I have a stash pin. That is my local yarn store. Stash, a place for yarn. This is my sock bag. The yarn that I am using is Premier Serenity Sock. This is in the colorway Violas. It is actually an interesting blend of yarn. It is 50% superwash merino, 50% superwash merino, 25% rayon made from bamboo, and 25% nylon. You get 50 grams in a ball. It is a fingering weight, and you get 230 yards. So I had 2 balls, and I was working both socks at the same time, and they are both done. I do these socks on a 9-inch circular 2.25 millimeter needle. I do them from the toe up, following the Sockmatician's toe up sock recipe pattern. Although this is the second pair where I have not done a heel flap and gusset, I have done the fish lips kiss heel. Let's see. I do the socks magic loop until I can increase to the amount of stitches that I need, and then I immediately switch to my circular needles. Here they are. They look so tiny, don't they? Normally I do 64 stitches around, but I actually did 60 stitches around for these, which did actually make a difference when I was knitting them. It was a little bit more of a pain to get them around my circular needle, and I knit them a 1/2 inch shorter than I normally would. So I would normally knit for a fish lips kiss heel, I would knit 7.5 inches and then start the heel. These I only knit 7 inches because they are a gift. I will not tell you who for, on the off chance that that person is going to see this podcast before Christmas. So they look itty bitty, right? Look at this giant sock blocker comparatively, but they do stretch and they fit pretty perfectly. So this is how it looks on the sock blocker. Isn't a sock blocker like the most wonderful thing ever? These actually have not been blocked, quote unquote. I threw them in the washing machine last night after I wove the ends in, and then I threw them in the dryer this morning. They're perfect because it's superwash. Let me put this one on as well. But sock blockers, this is so much easier to show you these socks. These are just Knit Pick sock blockers, and I love them. So they're pretty much, they're very close to being identical. Like, you can definitely tell that they're a pair. They're not exactly, but this is a self-striping yarn. I didn't do any color changes, nothing crazy. I loved it. So I did whatever kind of cast on Sockmatician's toe up sock recipe has. It's pretty much the only toe cast on that I know. And then I increased to right here. Then I knit just around and around and around until 7 inches, did the fish lips kiss heel, and then I knit until it was 3 inches from the bottom of the heel, and I did 1 inch of 2x2 ribs. So these are 4 inches tall. I think that one of them is like slightly, like 1 or 2 rows. You can't really, maybe you can tell right here. This one is like 1 or 2 rows taller. Whatever, it's fine. No one's gonna know. They're gonna be on feet. So I love them. I'm really, really happy with them. These aren't for me, and I love the yarn, but I'm tired of it, so I'm gonna work on some different socks. But I have enough yarn left to definitely make myself another pair. And so maybe I will. Maybe I'll make myself a pair of these socks. There is something exciting I want to talk to you about socks, because 2019 for me is going to be the year of the sock. 2018 was the year of the cardigan, or I should say garment, specifically the cardigan. I made a lot of them, and hopefully in the next episode I will show you a review of all of the cardigans that I have made this year. I need more socks in my life. I currently have 5 pairs of hand knit socks, one of which has a really long leg, one of which has a normal sock leg, and then 3 pairs of shorties. The shorties are the only ones I wear. I don't wear tall socks. It's not cold enough, and I also just don't like them. I have never liked wearing tall socks like my entire life. I'm gonna wear shorties. So I wanna make myself at least 6 pairs of shorty socks in 2019. So I am calling it the year of the sock. And I thought it would be fun if we were gonna do like an informal crochet along or knit along, because you can crochet or knit, doesn't matter, called the year of the sock. So if you want to use the hashtag on Instagram, the year of the sock Cowl, you can, and I will open a chatter thread and a finished objects thread. Well, maybe I'll just open a chatter thread in Ravelry. Sorry, piece of fuzz in my eyeball. I'll just open a chatter thread in Ravelry, and if you would like to make socks, or you are making socks in 2019, come join the conversation. You can knit them, you can crochet them, it doesn't matter to me as long as they fit your feet and you're happy with them. You can make baby socks, you can make knee-high socks, you can make thigh-high socks. I don't care, I'm making shorty socks. Make whatever kind of sock makes you happy. I just thought it would be fun to have a little community, and I will try to rustle up some prizes for that, and basically maybe draw 1 or 2 prizes a quarter, if that sounds good. So it won't be like a normal crochet along with like a start and a finish and like we're trying to get by a deadline. This is more just a fun make along to do together, and it will start, I don't know, I think it should start on Christmas. I know people are like, well, it should probably start on January 1st because that's the beginning of the year. But look, I'm done with these socks, so I need to put another sock on my needles. So I'm gonna say it starts now. If you have whips, work on them. I don't care. Stash positivity. And it will go until December 31st of 2019. And it will just be an informal crochet along, knit along. And I'd love to see what you make. I will be posting mine, and I'll try to have some prizes, maybe once a quarter, to give out. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Comment down below if you're interested in that. I will not be able to give you any help on crochet socks because I've only ever made 1 pair. In fact, I probably won't be able to give you any help on knitted socks because I only make stockinette ones. I haven't made any patterned ones. Although I was gifted a lovely pattern for knitted socks, and they're shorties and they're really pretty. And did I bring that over here? No, but a viewer of this podcast gifted me a knitted sock pattern, and it's lovely. So I am going to try that maybe a little bit later in the year when everything calms down. Definitely not in January. So yeah. If you would like to get in on the year of the sock, come join us. And now, without further ado, I would do a drum roll, but it will shake the camera and you'll probably get sick. This is the finished object you have all been waiting for. This is the finished object I have been waiting for months, I say. I cannot believe it's done. I wove in the ends last night. I seamed it together last night, which was a nerve-wracking experience. I'm still not convinced I did the best job ever seaming it. I threw it in the washing machine because it's made of acrylic and superwash merino wool. It is a 60% merino, 40% acrylic, I think. I'll have to check the tag. Blend. And then I threw it in the dryer this morning. And it is a beast. Are you ready? Are you ready for the finished crimson hooded cardigan? I'm so excited. I literally cannot handle this. So let's see. I am going to put it on. It's actually a little bit difficult to get on. I think that I need to reblock the sleeves. I'll talk about the sleeves in a second. If I can get another like ½ inch out of the sleeves, then I will be happy. And I think that I can because I didn't block them that aggressively. I pretty much just like pinned it out to the measurements and steamed it, and I was only like 1 inch away from the measurements to begin with. So I can definitely get a little more out of this. So the best thing about this cardigan is that it has a hood. This is what the hood looks like. This is a pattern called the Crimson Hooded Cardigan by Shannon Mullet-Bowlesby, who is one half of the Sheba Guys, who is an amazing design couple. And this is a cardigan that is made in pieces and seamed together. So the first piece I made was the back. Then you make each front side up to here. Then you make the sleeves separately. Then you sew the sleeve part, you sew these caps together and you work on the hood, and then you seam the hood up top. Oh man, this used so much yarn. It took so much time. I'm not really going to be able to keep this on for very long because it is extremely heavy and warm. But I will keep it on for a couple of minutes and then I'll take it off and show you the details. So it was living in my Halloween bag, which is made by Claire's Beth of Crochet Cakes. And it has a pin on it. I don't know if you can see that. It says, "Crochet friends are the best of friends," which was, I got that from Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast. And she has an Etsy store, and you should totally go check her out because she has the most amazing crochet pins of all time. The yarn that I'm using for this is Valley Yarns Haydenville, which is 220 yards per 100 grams. It is a 60% superwash merino, 40% acrylic blend. This is the yarn that the designer used in the pattern. And because this pattern was so much work, I wanted it to have the best chance it possibly could of succeeding. I got the pattern out of Interweave Crochet Winter 2018. So I've had this magazine for like a year now. This is the pattern. And you can get this pattern as a single purchase as well on Ravelry. You don't have to purchase the whole magazine, although I recommend it because you get so many patterns for not much more money. So, okay, it's too hot. Part of the problem is when I record a podcast, our thermostat is set to go up in the middle of the day when nobody's home. And I'm always recording on a Friday when I'm home in the middle of the day, and I don't turn the air down because, you know, trying to save electricity. And yes, we're using air in December. It's Florida. So then I put crochet on and I get too hot. My shirt says, "Namaste in bed." It's one of my favorites. My husband got it for me. And it's very appropriate for today because I didn't have a normal Friday. I have Fridays off, but normally I go to the gym and like have a routine and do all this stuff. But I didn't do that because I had a doctor's appointment this morning. I had to get some blood drawn. But I came home and I went to sleep. I took a nap. So my Namaste in bed shirt, totally appropriate. Okay, so this is the back. I had to block the back. Ooh, sorry, that totally blew out the camera. Red is hard to show on a camera. I had to block the back fairly aggressively, and I'm not sure if maybe my gauge loosened up a little bit when I got to the front sections, or if just all of that single crochet was too tight. So I had to stretch the back more than I wanted to, but I I think it's fine. It doesn't look holy or anything like that. The cable work makes me really happy. This is what a front looks like. Ah, this is so hard. So you start from the bottom on all of these pieces, and basically this had cable work every single row, and then once you get to the shoulder seam, you stop working, and then you start working the whole hood. So you go from cable across in single crochet, cable, and then back and forth, and then you seam it together at the top. So this is the cable work, and then here are the sleeves. So you also make the sleeves flat. They have a thumb hole, which is amazing. The sleeves, as we have discussed previously on this podcast, apparently I have abnormally shaped arms, or arms that are an abnormal length, because the sleeves are way too big, and I took out some of the rows. I think the problem for me is that the sleeves are made bottom up, and I needed to take out at least this much from the beginning part that is only this wide. So it goes, it's only this wide till like here, and then it starts increasing. Once you have done all of the increases, you do 10 rows even without increases before you do the sleeve cap. This is the sleeve cap, which, let me tell you, was an adventure. I've never set in a sleeve that had a sleeve cap on a straight shoulder. So like the sleeve was going like this, but the seam for the shoulder was like this. So that was an adventure last night. I am not convinced I did the best job seaming in the world, but I don't think anyone's gonna notice. These are my seams. Like you can tell right here that that's not quite exactly even. And you can tell the same thing on the other side. Like that one's even more pronounced. And I think I could probably, if I just stretch it a little bit, I could block that out and no one will notice. But for never having done that, I think my sleeve seams are pretty good. What I probably need to do, and I cannot be bothered to remake the entire sleeves and unpick my seams, but if I were going to make this again, what I would do is take off probably 3.5 inches is what the sleeve ended up being too long. I took off about 3/4 of an inch with the 10 rows, but I still have this much because it's supposed to be like this. But if it was like this, it would completely cover my fingertips, which maybe I'll want in the winter in Florida. Maybe I'll want to not wear gloves and just pull those down. But I think if I had started here, or started like here or something, and then started increasing right away, then it probably would have fit a little better, because it is a little bit of a struggle, and I blocked it to the right measurements, so I think, I don't know, my arms are just too short for this to work properly. So I'm going to stretch this out a little bit, and like if I can get just like a 1/2 inch out of it, I think it'll be a lot easier to put on. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way that the sleeve fits once it's on. It's just hard to get on my arm because it's a little tight. So it kind of like bunches up right here. Love it. I love the hood. My husband likes this sweater, and sometimes he looks at the stuff that I made and he's like, oh, that's nice. And I can tell he's like, oh, that looks handmade. No, he really, really likes this. And I really, really like this. This is such a massive amount of work. The cable pattern is, I was gonna say easy. It's not easy, but it's not that challenging once you get the hang of it. I never did memorize the cable pattern. I always referred back to my notes. It's not an easy pattern. It's definitely an intermediate pattern. The Interweave Crochet magazine rates it as a 3 out of 4 on a scale of difficulty, and I agree with that. You need to know what you're doing with cables before you start this. I mean, you can totally make this for your first garment. Do whatever you want. It's just a question of how much time and dedication are you willing to put into this. There were very few, there was like one instance where I was scratching my head over the pattern and then I put it down and went to bed, because usually when that happens, it's because it's late at night and I don't know what I'm talking about. And when I came back to it the next day, it made sense. So the pattern is very clearly written and I highly recommend it. It uses a ton of yarn, and like I said, it's very heavy. This is more like a coat than a cardigan, but it's totally worth it to get this finished object. And I, because it is a little bit too hot to wear it, I'm gonna lay it up here so that you can see the beauty of these cables in the background. It's so, oh, I love it so much. I can't believe it's done. After all these months of working on it, I can't believe it's done. It's crazy, right? To me, it's crazy. That is the ultimate project. And it happened in 2018. So what am I gonna do for 2019? I don't know. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I am going to wear it on Christmas Eve. We have a Christmas Eve service. Hopefully it'll be less than 90 degrees, otherwise I'm gonna keep it on for 5 seconds. But that was my whole goal, was to wear it on Christmas Eve, and now I can, so I'm really, really happy with that. I only have one whip, and it will surprise none of you to learn it's a hat. It is a hat, and actually I started it last night. After I threw that in the washer, I was like, well, I better start on a hat. But look at this kitty cat. Cat stitch marker is my favorite. So I'm just working on the ribbing. I'm like 1.5 inches in. This is hat number 7. There's nothing really to say about it. That's it. I do have, I have some other stuff to show you. Before I show you what has come in the mail, I just want to mention and show you the projects that I will be focusing on for the Love Your Stash Cowl, because I know I have been talking about them, but I haven't had them with me to show you. So the first one is going to be the soft gray cardigan. Yes, I know it's a men's cardigan. I don't care, it's for me. This is a pattern by Kat Golden. It was in Simply Crochet, and I don't know which issue. I had to buy the whole issue, which was only like $5, so it's fine. The yarn that I am using will be this Luette Gems 100% merino wool. It is a worsted weight yarn, 100-gram skein. You get 175 yards. I have 7 of them. This is the colorway Eggplant. I am a little concerned that I'm not going to get gauged with this. I don't know that I want to get gauged with this, because a couple of people have commented that they made this or tried to make it and they found the pattern a little bit difficult to deal with, and it did not have the correct amount of yarn listed that the pattern needed, and that if they got the gauge that was required, that the cardigan would have stood up on its own. The gauge would be so tight. So I think what I will do is just wind up one hank of yarn, and maybe I'll be able to do that today, I don't know, hopefully, and do some swatches. If I can swatch, and get a gauge that I like. Now the yarn that she calls for is an Aran weight yarn, and I am just using, it's just a worsted weight, so I'm hoping that the little bit of a thinner yarn will give me a better drape on the fabric. So I may see how many stitches I have in my swatch and then go from there with the pattern. If I can find a size that's closest to that number of stitches per inch, then I'll just make that size instead. The pattern is pretty unique in that you make the sleeves first, and then you make the cardigan from the bottom up, and then you join the sleeves while you're doing the top. There's not a lot of instructions. I have had, I'm not gonna say I've had issues with Kat Golden's patterns because she's an amazing designer, but I've heard other people have had issues. And basically, she does not hold your hand at all. There's not a lot of explanation. Like, this is not really giving anything away. It's just, let's see. Like, she tells you how to do the body. So you do the sleeve, then you seam up the sleeve, then you do the body, and then you say for size 1, she's like, work 24 stitches on body, pick up the sleeve. That's not a lot of explanation. I am sure I will be able to figure it out with no problem, provided that I am happy with my gauge. I'm a little concerned I may run out of yarn because of all the people who have said the yarn requirements in this pattern are way, way off. But I do have 7 skeins. I think that that will be okay. If not, Luette Gems is a fairly popular yarn, so I would run out probably on the shawl collar. And that you pick up a shawl collar after the entire thing is done and you make that. So I think that if the dye lot is slightly different on the shawl collar, it won't look bad, or even I could do it in a different color like black or something like that. So I don't know, I'm gonna do some swatches. I really wanna make it because it's a Tunisian cardigan, which I have never done before, and I love Tunisian crochet, and I have not been able to do hardly any of it this year. This year's been nuts for some reason. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll have some update on whether I will be in fact making this cardigan or I found something else to do with that yarn on the next podcast episode. The other project that I will be working on is a whip that has not been touched in months. It is living in this bag. Elizabeth of Crochet Cakes and her mom Caroline of the Mind and Muse podcast both worked on this bag, and they gave it to me last year. And it has been housing a pattern from, let's see if I can find it. Right here. It's from the Shawl Project, book 3 by Joanne Scrace and Kat Golden. This pattern is by Joanne Scrace. That's what it looks like. The reason that this pattern has not gotten a lot of love, especially this year, is because I can't memorize it and I have to concentrate. And I have found really that I don't love patterns that I have to concentrate on that much. Even the cable cardigan didn't require that much concentration, because once you, like, maybe I glance at the pattern at the beginning of the row and then I would have it until the end of the row. This, I just can't memorize. It's a lace pattern, and it's like a 6-row, I think it's a 6-row repeat. Yes, it's a 6-row repeat. I need to do that 6-row repeat 36 times, and I have done it so far a total of 13 times. So, not very close. Let's see, the last time you saw this was probably 3 months ago, and I was right here. So I have done like maybe 2 or 3 repeats, and the lace pattern is beautiful. Like, once it's blocked, that's gonna be amazing. But like I said, it requires concentration, and I have to sit down and do a whole repeat at one time. And I just can't, I have not been able to do that. And I wanna use this yarn because this was a gift that I got a while ago from Lisa, who is Alexandria on Instagram. And this is the yarn, I was looking for the tag. It's Indigo Dragonfly Chameleon Sock, so it's 63% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, and 17% silk for this. And it's called, the colorway is Big Ben, the British Peanut, a special edition. And so that's gonna be the border, and then the inside yarn will be this gray, which is a Knit Picks gloss fingering. I think that'll look really pretty. So I really, really would like to work on that. It has gotten no love at all. So for the Love Your Stash Cowl, I love this yarn and I really like the pattern, but it's not gotten any love. So it's going to be hopefully a whip that is completed for the Love Your Stash Cowl. So yeah, those are the 2 projects that I'm going to work on. I'm sure I will be working on some other stuff. There is already a hat that I want to cast on called the Faye Hat by Kelly Martin, who is my friend Kelly and etc. on Instagram. She has the cutest, like, little pointy knitted cap. It's adorable. And you make it by holding like a strand of regular yarn and then mohair together. And I have some mohair and I want to do that. And also I want to wear it because I think it's so cute. So I'm going to probably cast that on pretty soon as well. A couple of things have come in the mail. Several are prizes for the Love Your Stash Cowl, so let me show you some of those first. The first thing that came in the mail is from Teresa, who is, see if you can see this, DiddlyDaddleDesigns. Oh, I stuck, sorry. This is her card. I will leave a link directly to her shop down below, because she has given you guys a discount code if you would like to buy anything from her shop. She makes the most beautiful quilted bags. So until January 31st, so you basically have a month. If you use the code CozyCottage15, which I will put down below, you can get 15% off anything in her shop. Then she sent me 2 bags to give away as prizes for the Love Your Stash Cowl. The first, it's blowing out a little bit, but look at this. It's a little cross-stitched sheep. Like, this is actually cross-stitched. This isn't like an applique. It's so cute. And on the back, it's that pretty floral fabric. It has a really, I like this zipper pull. It has some weight to it. On the inside, it's a beautiful blue. And of course, it has a strap for putting it in your hand, putting it on your arm. So that will be one prize. And then she sent me a huge one. This is like a sweater sized project bag. And it's quilted. And on the back, it looks like that. And on the inside, this is my favorite part. It's polka dots. So pretty. So these are, I was really blown away when these came in the mail. She told me that they were coming and to use them as prizes. She did not tell me she was sending a discount code, so that was really special. Thank you, Teresa. But, oh my gosh. I wish I could give these away right now, but I definitely want to do these for the Love Your Stash Cowl, and that's what these are going to be prizes for. But they're gorgeous, and I'm so thankful to be able to give these away. I think they're really, really special, and you should definitely go check out her shop and enter something in the Love Your Stash Cowl, but definitely go check out something in her shop and use that code CozyCottage15 to get 15% off until the end of January. Ooh, I dropped my yarn tag. This is how things go missing in my house. I'm gonna put this in my project bag before I forget, and it's never heard from again. The next thing that will be used as prizes, I got, if you remember in the last episode, a lovely viewer of this podcast named Stephanie sent a bunch of yarn that she no longer needed in her stash to use for prizes, and I showed her all of that. I didn't realize she was sending me a second package, and in that package was all books. So I'm going to show them to you one at a time. This is called Decorator Throws. It's a knitted throw book. I'm trying to find the one that I really, really liked in here. Ooh, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it. Oh yeah, pretty well. Look at that. That's amazing. So this is all like Afghans. There's one on baby blankets. So cute. There is one called The Knitted Home. There is Socks to Knit for Those You Love by Edie Ekman. And if you don't know who Edie Ekman is, she's pretty fabulous. There was one sock in here. Well, there's a ton of socks in here that are really, really pretty. But there's one I wanted to show you. If I can find it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. I don't want you to look at me flipping through pages all day. This is crochet. This is all animal lovies. So I may actually, before using this as a prize, flip through this and pick one out, because I know so many people who are pregnant right now, and I need to make them gifts. Look at this. Look at this. It's a lamb. Oh, it's so precious. So that's crochet. There is a big book of crochet dishcloths, which this is a prize. Everybody needs more dishcloths. There is a book called Design Your Own Knits in 5 Easy Steps. This may actually stay with me. I haven't decided. I do have the Vogue knitting book, but this has really interesting information on graph paper and tension and all kinds of things. So I'm definitely going to look at this. And then there's another book on dishcloths. So crazy amount of awesome books. So thank you so much, Stephanie. That is so, so generous of you. I cannot wait. The sock book will definitely be a first quarter prize for the Year of the Sock. And we'll see where the other ones show up as prizes. That was just so sweet to get that in the mail. I had no idea it was coming. So I was like, what is this? This is really heavy. Just happy mail, that's all. There is a viewer of this podcast named Lori. Hi, Lori. And we have communicated back and forth a few times. And she just started a podcast channel, actually, which I will leave a link to down below. I'm going to be perfectly honest and say that I haven't watched yet. I want to, but it probably won't be until January. Because as it stands right now, I am hopelessly behind because of how much I've been working and not feeling great and sleeping instead. And let me just tell you what I have a complaint about. Today, I have off from work, right? I'm only recording this podcast, and I was gonna spend the rest of the day like doing yarny things and watching podcasts and catching up on Vlogmas, and the internet is out. Universe is ruining my plans. The one day I can actually sit down and catch up on stuff, the internet is out in our whole neighborhood. So actually, I'm not sure if this is gonna be uploaded on time. I'm hoping that they get it fixed by tonight. It's only about 1 p.m. right now, because I normally upload this in the afternoon and then it's scheduled to go live on Saturday morning. So if the podcast is late, I'm so sorry. It's because our internet is gone. Anyways, that was a complete tangent. She sent me in the mail for Christmas these 2 pins that say naughty and nice, which are funny in themselves, but actually I think this is gonna be really fun to put on. Like if I have a whip that I have to frog or something, and you know how things get in timeout, it's gonna get a naughty pin. And if I have something that I am flying through and loving working, it's gonna get a nice pin. So awesome. And then she also sent me a little star stitch marker, and you probably can't read that, but it says, "This is my ugly Christmas sweater." So thank you, that was very sweet. Ooh, I just hit the camera, I'm sorry. That was very sweet of you, Lori. Made me smile. I did get a package in the mail, and every time someone sends me something, I try to make sure that I say thank you. But I got a package in the mail that had this in it from Christina in Nova Scotia. It has these stitch markers, and there was some tea and a beautiful pen. And she also sent me this amazing lamb card, which is beautiful, but you didn't put your Instagram name or your email or anything on it. And I'm pretty sure we had an Instagram conversation, but because I have been posting so much on my stories about the tea that I'm drinking, my Instagram messages are just like way pushed down, and I cannot find your Instagram name to thank you. But I know you watch this podcast, so I just want you to know that I got your package. Thank you so much. This yarn is amazing. This card is going up in my Christmas cards. I have like a little section of Christmas cards because it's so cute. And I got it. I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry I wasn't able to say thank you to you right away, but I cannot find the message where we had a conversation, which makes me feel like a terrible person. So please know that I really appreciate it. And then finally, I bought 2 things. One, it was kind of free. It was the Ideal Me crochet blog, like basically sent me an email on Black Friday and was like, if you would like a tote bag, you can have it only for the cost of shipping. Of course, the shipping was like $7 for something that weighs like 2 ounces. So of course they made their money back, but I couldn't resist because it says so many yarns, so little time, and it has a sheep. This is a extremely cheap tote bag. Like, I don't really recommend it. Like, you can basically see through it, and it is pretty scratchy. But it's adorable. So, it cost me $6. I'm totally fine with that. The other thing I bought for myself was kind of like a Christmas present for the year of the sock. As you know, this is my sock bag by Slip Stitch Studios. It's got popsicles and ice creams. And this is what it looks like on the inside. It was a gift from Claudia of the Crochet Luna podcast, but she bought it from Slip Stitch Studios. And so I have been following them on Instagram for quite a while, and they have something called a llamacorn, which is like a unicorn, but it's a llama. And they have a rainbow llamacorn, which they haven't had in a long time. And basically they redid a limited edition run of these rainbow llamacorn sock bags and some larger bags, but I wanted a sock bag. So I knew there was going to be an update. And the bag isn't too pricey. I think it was like $20-something. And for the quality and how much it's going to get used, I think that that's totally reasonable. But I actually set an alarm on my phone so that I could get one of these. Because not only is it a rainbow llamacorn, it's a knitting rainbow llamacorn. This is the best bag ever. I'm so excited. It's purple on the inside, and it actually has a rainbow pocket on the inside as well. I love it. And because I want to make more socks, I figured I should buy myself a fancy sock bag, and I have not been using it. This is my favorite part, actually, is the drawstring and this little closure. Love it. I also really, really love the handle. It's not ribbon, it's more like a belt almost, like a mesh woven belt. So I love it. I have been not using it on purpose, trying to finish all of these other works in progress. I am going to cake up some yarn, decide what my first pair of socks for the year of the sock will be, and they will go right in here. I will leave a link to the Slip Stitch Studios shop down below as well. I could not recommend her bags more. They're so high quality. This one I've been using for a year and a half, and it desperately needs a wash, as I keep saying, but I keep using it, and there's no holes, there's no threads poking out. It's the perfect size. I love it. It's like my favorite bag. So yeah, definitely go check her out. She's not paying me or sending me anything to say that. I just love that product, and I think that I will be buying from her in the future. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it. If I've forgotten something, I don't know. It's been an hour. So don't forget to leave me a comment down below if you would like to enter in the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, do give it the thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you would like to be kept up to date on any future videos that are appearing on this channel. It is a couple of days until Christmas, so I hope if you're celebrating that you have the best time, that you have family, that you have friends, that you get something special to you, and that you just get to have a wonderful time. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. It will be 2019 by then. So until then, stay safe, have the best time you possibly can, and happy crafting. Bye!